Partly cloudy and 92 on Saturday with the smallest chance of a storm. Mostly sunny on Sunday, high 91. That's your forecast from Storm Team 12. I'm meteorologist Jake Dunn.
Sports bring us together. They're the moments we cheer for, argue over, and remember for years. But more and more, the games fans love are getting locked behind paywalls. Another app, another fee, another way fans get left behind. Sports belong where everyone can follow them, on broadcast TV and radio stations. Make your voice heard. Text sports to 39179 today.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Work. You're there, so we came too.
I brought beer.
Dude, we can't drink here.
Oh, more for me.
97.5 and 1240 KFH. Kansas fan headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH Wichita, KNSS HD2 Clearwater, an Odyssey sports station.
Hey Wichita, it's Jacob Albrock. Stay right there for the latest breaking in sports talk. It's Sports Daily coming up next, exclusively on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
This is an Odyssey Sports Minute.
Nobody is beating France in the World Cup. They beat Morocco 2-0 on Thursday. That team is a machine. If you're looking for flaws, look to other teams that are still playing. France has none. Any team that even has a hope of competing is going to need to play their absolute best game if they want to beat France and hope that France screws up a little bit. They're just so good. I'm dead.
Jim Rome.
What is your beef?
My beef is with people who take up 2 parking spots because they're so paranoid they're going to get boxed in.
What's your beef?
I got a beef with the schmucks who have soul patches. Blame it.
Bro, you could have just left it. You didn't even have to mention it. What's your beef?
The moment you put your shirt on backwards, that awkward, uncomfortable moment of failure and terror.
What's your beef?
Man, I got some damn meth heads that stole my air conditioner, man. It's not cool, man. Summer, the humidity of the damn powder.
What's your beef?
My beef is with my garbage man, sitting in this truck, letting this robotic arm try to empty my can. Listen, bro, if I need some help, why don't you get that director of JP, former director, Trash Panda, to empty my can. Ow.
Jim Rome, afternoons at 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH, Wichita's most listened to sports radio.
With live sports all weekend, my radio dial is stuck on KFH Radio.
Thank you, Nick Nack and Patty Whack. The Siamese Midgets will be sure to catch your new series on Fox. How you doing, Mr. Burns? Jerry Rude, welcome to the show.
Now, Mr. Rude, I just want you to know I'm a good sport. If you want to make fun of my legendary love of cashews, you have at it.
All right. How many times a day do you go to the can?
Oh, about 40, I suppose. When are we going on the air?
We're on the air now, Skeletor.
What?
Change the channel, Marge.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH, this is Sports Daily.
Man, how'd I ever live without this thing?
You got that right. Welcome into Sports Daily, everybody. Jacob Albrock, TJ Cleveland here on a Friday morning. TGIF. I hear it's Friday. If you're a French fry enthusiast, we are glad to have you with us, no matter how it is. You are with us, listening to us over the air on KFH 97.5 FM, 1240 AM. Whether you're with us on our video streams on 12 News Connected, Facebook, YouTube, or X, or on the Odyssey app, we've got you covered. You can also email the show at sportsdaily@kfhradio.com. You can leave messages on the video streams that we can take out over the air, Facebook, YouTube, X there, and leave voice messages on the Odyssey app. It's easy. We're glad to be here with you as we get big news yesterday for the city of Wichita, getting ready to host the next 2 years of the NCAA tournament. How about that? It'll be wild and crazy, and we've got all the details. We've got Jaylon Thompson coming in later in the show, our Royals insider. We've got Josh Howell, Visit Wichita, in to talk about Wichita, landing that in our next segment here. We'll get all right to it. It's all What's on Tap, brought to you by the Wichita Brewing Company. Now featuring Chico Beerha, Wichita's soccer lager. With a lean and refreshing body, Chico Beerha is a lager tailored for a soccer summer. kick it with Chico Beerha this Cup season at Wichita Brewing Company, as we are in the round of 8 now in the World Cup. TJ, good morning. How are you?
I don't know how I was supposed to sleep last night thinking about next year getting to watch Prairie View A&M in Long Island. Wow. I'm being sarcastic. It is actually awesome that they are coming to Wichita. We will get some mid-major games that will go down as mid-major games for sure. But for people like Jacob and I and a lot of the other basketball sickos around Wichita, it's going to be awesome to see. You're going to learn a lot about those teams. I can't wait, and we're going to talk about it quite a bit.
Yeah, there is a lot to get into and dissect, and we will try to do that over the next few weeks here. Wichita basically, at a bird's eye, becomes the second Dayton. If you missed it, if you missed that the tournament is expanding at all, the tournament's expanding now to 76 teams, which means Wichita is going to get 6 basketball games, 12 teams over 2 days before the Thursday of the traditional start of March Madness. I think there are a lot of questions with it. What does that mean for chances of other rounds of the tournament? Is this as good as other rounds of the tournament? It's certainly good to have the tournament for 2 straight years. Could Wichita be the forever host of this, like Dayton is? Like, there's a lot of really interesting stuff, and we'll get into all of it with Josh Howell. TJ, you did a real quick look, just for perspective for people, at who would have been the eligible teams last year based on basically the way that, what did you use, ESPN,
So
the way
this
ESPN had the final, bracketology.
So what doesn't change? Well, this kind of changes is, and we'll talk more about this, but it's the 12 lowest seeded auto qualifiers. So you win your conference tournament, and the 12 lowest seeded at-large bids. And so, the quick math, I'm sure that there's a little volatility of what the NCAA would have done, but that is your bottom 12 auto queues that don't change at all. They were still the same bottom 12 auto queues. You can use the net to pick out where 11 and 12 are, such and such. And then the at-large bids, there is the last 4 in that the NCAA tells us, these are the last 4 teams in. So you take those, and then I took the 8 from Joe Lenardi from ESPN, the first 8 out that didn't get in. And just kind of added them to it. And that gives you your 12 and your 12. So that's your 24 teams. The at-large bids that are the notable ones, we would have gotten the Miami of Ohio, or we could have. It'd be between Wichita and Dayton.
Half of.
Correct. Yes. Sorry. Of this pool would have been Miami, Ohio, NC State, Texas, SMU, Oklahoma, Auburn, San Diego State, New Mexico, Indiana, Stanford, Seton Hall, Virginia Tech, and then, of course, the 12 auto qualifiers as well, like the 16 seeds that you saw. You could have had Siena, the team that almost beat Duke. So you're going to get some stories like that as well. And again, half of the teams listed there will go to Dayton, half will come to Wichita. I don't know if we know what the math will be on what game, who gets what game, and things of that sort. I think that would probably be like a week of decision if I had to take a stab at it. But we know that those will be the teams that will be featured in the games.
So you get half of the, and look, the AQs, fun, great, fine. They're not the ones that, like, for me, that I would be particularly worried about. I'm not sure that we're drawing large crowds from, Tennessee State or Furman or Lehigh. You'll get some, I think, but they've also got to try to travel to the next games. I think where you look is those at-larges. 6 of that group you mentioned, I mean, you're talking about some fan bases there. Last year, Texas, Oklahoma, Indiana, San Diego State.
I think it's such an interesting thing in college basketball, because every time anybody brings up tournament expansion, people roll their eyes and spit on it and things like that. But if you're Oklahoma or Auburn and you get to hear like, hey, we're going to play in Wichita, they'd be like, we'll be there. Absolutely.
Well, at least a portion of them will be, right? Because you're going to play a game. So I think my big concern with it would be, okay, are we getting the same sort of buzz from these fans that we would get if it's the other? I don't know the answer to that. We'll try to talk to somebody in Dayton about that. We'll talk to Josh Howell about that and what the numbers say on that. But what you do know is that you have the tournament, and now you have it twice, and you don't have to sit here and wait and wonder.
I think the other part of it as well is that you get typically when they come to Wichita, You get the Thursday of the 4 games or 3 games. I can't remember what it usually is. And then you get the day off, and then you get the round of 32, 2 games. I know for sure is that one. So I think it's 4 than 2. This time you get, you get 6, 3 and 3 back-to-back days. And so you think about it, what for our lives, Jacob, is that there's selection Sunday. Monday, there's teams in Wichita practicing, getting ready to go. Tuesday, there's games. Wednesday, there's games. And then that leads you right into Thursday, and then you go from there. And so it'll be cool. I think it's going to be – people might not like the expanded tournament because it's not the traditional way.
We don't know that yet, yeah.
But, well, based on what they have said so far on it,
people say things and then.
But once they turn it on, and I think that this will be a pretty cool appetizer. Am I a little biased because it's coming to Wichita? I probably am, but I think it will be a cool appetizer. It's what we've said forever, and I'm glad they're kind of doing it the way that they are. If it was up to me, I would just say, we're taking the 24 last at-larges. You guys duke it out. That'd be the cooler way to do it, I think, just to say, like, you want to be a bubble team so bad, prove it.
Right.
I think the fact that they're saying that it's not going to be like, hey, we're going to take 16 auto cues and we'll take 8 at-larges and throw them in there. I think the fact that it's, hey, 12 at-larges, you want to be in the tournament, make the damn tournament here.
It'll be interesting to see just in general, wherever they play it, the tournament and how it changes or doesn't change. But the fact of the matter is Wichita's always been a great host for these things. I think it's a great compliment that the NCAA tipped their cap in that way. Here's the other really interesting nugget out of the release that was sent, and we'll ask Josh Howell this question. We've been trying to sort of get some of the answers to this in some other conversations off the air, and I'm not sure we're 100% on this. But in the release, it says the men's basketball committee also voted to remove the provision that prohibited a school from playing at a site at which it's serving as the tournament host. Forever, that was not like Wichita State couldn't play at Intrust Bank Arena. Is that on the table around the country is the other part of that question.
I'd assume so.
Yeah, so everywhere across the country is this possible now.
Wait to put that one in the 8th paragraph, NCAA. Dig for
I
it.
know.
If you want to find it, you dig.
Like, nobody ever talked about it either. Like, wait, what is that saying? Why does that have to do with anything? All right, we'll have Josh Howell in next. Visit Wichita about the announcement, what it took, what it means on Sports Daily.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
831001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you
and inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Go ahead. I think I want to hear this.
Sports Daily is on KFH. And now, digging deeper with the teams you follow, it's another Sports Daily Insider interview on KFH.
And we welcome you back in here, everybody, to Sports Daily. Longhofer Lawn and Tree Care, celebrating 60 years in Wichita, providing expert lawn care for a healthy lawn, tree and shrub care, and bedweed control since 1966. Longhofer Lawn and Tree Care. As we come back in, we do welcome in Vice President of Sports Development for Visit Wichita, Josh Howell, who has a big hand. As you can see the banners behind him, if you're watching on our video streams of getting events like this into Wichita, perhaps the world's worst fantasy football player. Josh Howell, welcome in to Sports Daily. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, guys. And I'd like to challenge you on that last statement there, Jacob. But that's probably for another day.
I just read what's in front of me.
I think the question that we all need to be asking Josh Howell is, if the Arizona Wildcats find themselves in Wichita in a play-in game, is he mad that Arizona is in a play-in game or excited that they're in Wichita?
I'm usually mad at that point. I think, correct me if wasn't it a play-in game that Arizona played Wichita State, or was that after Wichita State had already, remember when Wichita State played Arizona several years ago? That was torture for me because
I don't think that was a play-in.
I think that might have been the year that Wichita State won the play-in and got to play Arizona. Maybe. But that was torture for me. But yeah, I think if Arizona is in the play-in game, I'll be excited, especially if they come to Wichita, but I don't think that would be the season that Arizona's hoping for. So we'll see.
So you guys get 27 and 28. Congratulations. The tournament expands. Wichita gets these 2 years. That's a big deal for Wichita, regardless of anything else, right? The tournament was not coming to Wichita in 27 and 28. We already knew that. So now it is for 2 years coming to Wichita in this newly expanded format that we're all sort of going to wait and see how much we like it. But either way, it's going to put Wichita front and center and on the map.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I think it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago when they announced the winners of the last bid cycle, which went through 28. So once we didn't hear our name called there, we were kind of told, because we were we hosted in 25, that was the tail end of the previous bid cycle. And they said it was more a timing issue. So we had our sights set then on the next bid cycle, which would be 29, 30, and 31. And then you start to hear rumbling of tournament expansion. And, even though they officially announced this, a month or two ago, we had already been hearing rumblings that this is more than likely going to happen. And we had already had those relationships with folks in the NCAA. Of course, Brad and his team at Wichita State, they have such a great reputation with everyone at the NCAA as well. So we continue to meet with them. We let them know ahead of time, like, hey, if this is something that ends up happening, Wichita is definitely interested. So we were kind of already on their mind, I think, before they even had, announced that this was happening. We already knew, hey, this is going to, if it happens, and it's probably going to happen, it's going to happen quickly. So let's be ready to roll. And so when they announced it, we kind of assembled our organizing committee with our team at Visit Wichita. Of course, Brad taking the lead at Wichita State. Can't say enough about the job he does in leading this whole ship. And then AJ and his team at Interest Bank Arena with support from city and county. But yeah, the fact that this was not on anyone's radar, Wichita was not going to be hosting in 27 and 28. Now we are. We've heard that they want this site to kind of be like a Dayton. They don't necessarily want to have to bid it out all the time. And so, yes, it's 27, 28. We've let them know we would love for Wichita to be another Dayton. And then every year March Madness comes to Wichita. But yes, for now it's 27 and 28 with the goal being, let's see if we can keep this thing here as long as we can.
Yeah, so more on that in a second. It sounds like once this was announced that the field was expanding, NCAA kind of had like a mad dash to figure it out. And I think that's what made Wichita so appealing, is that a lot of these cities, as you know and as we know, is that you have to take a couple of years to get your bid ready and do all these things. Is that what made Wichita so attractive? Is one, the history that they've had with March Madness, but two is saying that we'll take you next month. I don't care. Come if you want to come.
Yeah, I think so. You mentioned the history, and 2018, I think, kind of opened their eyes, like, wow, Wichita can really do something like this and do it big. And then the women's tournament in 22, and then of course March Madness again in 25, just continue to deliver, and the fan fests that pop up all over the place around the arena. The ticket sales, of course, is a big part of it. But yeah, that's something that not every city, I'm sure, had all the hotel inventory. You're talking less than a year out. A lot of cities may already have conferences or conventions booked up at different hotels, and arena availability. That's a huge one too. A lot of arenas have tenants, and we just happen to kind of get lucky with availability at the arenas. All of our full service hotels were able to kind of work with us and move things around, because now you're talking 12 teams, right? So you have to have, when we host in the past, you're talking hotels for 8 teams. Now you have to have hotels for 12 teams, plus the NCAA staff and media hotels and things like that. And so all that had to come together. Our hotels, our venues, AJ and the arena, moving some things around, getting creative with dates. I think Disney on Ice is coming either right before or right after, and his team willing to work through the overnight hours to flip the arena to make it ready when the NCAA needs it. A lot of things like that don't always happen in other cities. And so, yes, the availability was a big thing. The past history is huge. They were already, Wichita's already top of mind for the NCAA. And so I think knowing that it is a quick turnaround, and hey, what's a city that that can deliver on such short notice. And I think Wichita was the perfect choice for them.
We're going to take a viewer question here, Josh, because it's one I think that jumps to the forefront. So if Wichita were to become permanent, does that take Thursday and Friday games? Does it take then a potential, further into the tournament? Is that off the table if Wichita hosts these rounds?
Typically, the way that there's probably no written rule that says one way or the other, but typically the NCAA, if you look back at their history, they usually only select a city for one particular site in that year. So you normally won't see a Kansas City hosting first and second rounds, and then also a Sweet 16, Elite 8 regional. They typically try to spread it around to different cities. And so if this were to happen, our thought is, we probably would not host those Thursday, Friday games. However, you look at it on the other side, at best case scenario in the past, we were hosting every 4 or 5 years, which is in their rotation, which of course is great. And we were happy to do that. This could be an every year thing. And you know what? And if it turns out that it's not, and they want to move this thing around, then that still opens it up, and we would bid on
jump back into the regular.
Yeah, we would bid on the first and second rounds. We would bid on opening rounds. And the way it works is too, when you submit those bids, you can submit for multiple rounds and then let them decide kind of what makes the most sense. Of course, they're going to do what they want to do, but we're going to keep our options open. But in a perfect world, in our eyes, it's like this is an NCAA tournament every year in Wichita. If that's what comes to fruition, in our eyes, it's like, how can you top that?
Yeah. So what is that conversation like? Take us into the sausage being made a little bit. What goes into the conversation of saying that having, 12 bubble teams, is that better than having Houston and Gonzaga and the KUs that we've had in the past? I imagine that's something that you guys really had to, chew on of what is better for Wichita.
Yeah. I think it was something that we all discussed, and it really just came down to, we think, you've seen the success that Dayton has had, and on those Tuesday, Wednesday games, Dayton owns those 2 days, right? I mean, when you're watching games, you're not competing with all these other cities and different sites, and all eyes are on Dayton. All eyes are on those games that are being played. And I think this is going to be no different. Now you got Tuesday, Wednesday, 3 games each in Dayton, 3 games in Wichita. If they're flipping channels, it's between one of those 2 games. You don't have any other options. So I think that was really cool to know that all eyes are going to be on Wichita on those 2 nights. And I think you guys were talking about it earlier, but a lot of those teams that, make the play-in games, if you want to call them that, a lot of them, there's usually 1 or 2 every year that gets hot and makes a run. Was it UCLA that made the Final Four, several years back? A lot of them are big name teams. And it's really not a ton different than the first and second rounds. You might have 1 or 2 of those, of course, the higher seeds that you might not see here. But you're still going to get the big name teams. You're still going to get the smaller schools, the automatic qualifiers, the 16 seeds and things like that. And so, for us, this is something that Wichita is just going to, we hope that Wichita owns it, kind of like Dayton has, and we're confident that they will, and kind of makes it our own. And regardless of what teams are announced on Sunday, we hope that locals and Wichitans get excited about this and buy tickets. And we know the fans are going to travel in with those teams, but for this to be a huge success like we want it to be, and like we know it will be, this is something that the city and local basketball fans are just going to have to rally behind. And man, how cool would it be to know every year that when you look at that bracket, you're going to see Wichita on it, at least for the next 2 years and hopefully moving forward. So
businesses around Wichita, be prepared to give your folks off now for March Madness the entire week. You got to be ready to party on a Tuesday and Wednesday instead of a Thursday or Friday. I was just looking here. The Dayton Business Journal reported $121 million of economic impact in 2025 from the play-in games, a total draw of fans of just over 25,000. It's reset its own record that it set in 2023. So if you hear, Josh, 25,000 people, 120 million in economic impact, how does that stack up? I imagine it's probably not quite as high as the other, but it's also not every 4 or 5 years. So do those numbers track with what you guys are finding? Do we have the numbers back on what we did in 2025? I don't remember, but that seems like that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's the economic impact number is, there's so many different ways you can measure economic impact. We did do a study in 25. The Wichita State Center for Economic Development and Research did economic impact study for us, and 7 million in total economic impact is what they projected from 2025. So that Dayton number seems a little skewed, a little high, but 7 million is what we tracked from 2025. And yeah, this is obviously a different event. It's a Tuesday, Wednesday, more teams, but they're here a little bit shorter time. So once we get a little bit closer, we'll be able to crunch those numbers. But yeah, I think it'll be similar. It'll be on par. Ironically, I think in 2018, when we ran the numbers, there were actually a little bit less people downtown total in 2025 than there were in 2018, but there were more visitors in town in 2018, probably the KU effect. So having KU certainly, brings out more of the Kansas fans, but in 2025, yeah, like I said, in 25, there were actually more visitors from outside of Wichita that made it downtown than 2018. So it's always interesting when you host these events and you get to crunch those numbers. But regardless, you saw a sold out Intrust Bank Arena in 2018 with KU, in 2025 without KU. Basketball fans are hungry here in Wichita, and without, with the locals, but also with the folks traveling in, I think you're going to see another packed Intrust Bank Arena next year. And yeah, we're excited for this new format and what we can do with it.
So that brings us to, if KU found themselves in the play-in games, there might be people that would bring pitchforks to Wichita, probably those fans. But it's not that far off to think that, K-State, I believe in 2024 was like a first four out. They would fit the category. They could come to Wichita. And then as we were talking about in that first segment is that based on what that release says is that it seems like the door's open that Wichita State could play in Wichita as well. That would be your local draw. And I know that Wichita State fans at least would go crazy to have them in Intrust Bank Arena.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back and look at some of those teams that have played in those games, that have played in Dayton, there's some pretty big names, some pretty big schools that have made the trip and have played in those games. And so I'm not too worried about the caliber and the quality of teams. And yeah, I think everyone kind of like you guys were like, is that accurate? Is that, they kind of, like you said, they put that towards the bottom of the release. And I've been texting with Brad and like, is this accurate? And he's like, from what we understand, yes, I think we'd be able to play. So I think everyone's kind of trying to like figure it out and make sure, like, is this actually what this means? Like Wichita could play. So I don't want to be the one that you're quoting that says, absolutely Wichita's playing here. But from what we understand, that is kind of, that's what it sounds like to us as well. So we're trying to get some clarity on that, but that would be obviously something you can't bank on, but how cool would that be to see Wichita State right here? And oh man,
Dayton would be in the same boat, right? Dayton's kind of in that same realm, and then you wonder later on, like Spokane's a consistent host site. Can Gonzaga play in Spokane, for instance? I mean, I suppose that they could.
Yeah, I think that's something that hopefully in the next couple of days, I would think that's going to start to come to light, because that was, like you said, that was kind of thrown in there. And the good thing is people were talking about Wichita, and that was kind of more the footnote. But I think once people start digging in, they're going to start asking those questions. I'm sure that'll come to light here shortly. But that's the way that it read, and that's kind of our understanding. So we'll hopefully get more clarity on that soon, but that would be awesome.
So something that you said, one more, Jacob. Well, one thing you said earlier, Josh, is that, you guys want to become, the other Dayton. You want to have this every single year. It sounds like that this was a competitive one to get this bid. I know that Albuquerque was one. People talked about if they wanted to go west. Do you feel like these next 2 years, is that kind of like the prove it, and if it goes well, you think you'd have a good chance to go forward? Do you think it would be the NCAA saying, we want to at least see what's going on over there, or how do you view that?
Yeah, I think it was such a quick turnaround that they're like, hey, look, we got to get 27 and 28 going, and then they're going to keep the others in line with their normal bid cycle, 29, 30, and 31. So that kind of made the most sense. So that way everyone can open it up. And technically, if you go look on the NCAA's bidding website, I don't know, you guys are probably not digging around on NCAA bidding websites like we are, but every 4 years or every 3 years, whenever the bid cycle opens up, the previous first 4 was always up for bid. So any city could have gone in, and maybe some have, but it was kind of an unwritten rule that they're going to Dayton. Like it's in Dayton. And so technically even that one has been out for bid over the last couple of bid cycles. But yeah, they haven't come out and said it, but I think that makes a lot of sense. It's like, hey, we got to get caught up. We need a site for the next 2 years to catch us up to the next bid cycle. So let's get that out there and see which city can come and hopefully host it for both years, because it was also open. You could have bid on 27 or 28. I think some cities we heard maybe were available for 1 year, but maybe not the next. And so that was another, I think, reason that helped us stand out. They want to have a consistency there. But it very well could be like, hey, let's see how this goes. And if Wichita knocks it out of the park and can be that next Dayton, then maybe it's something they'll look at just kind of rolling over and keeping us in the mix. And so we're going to do everything we can to continue giving that great experience. And again, I can't mention Brad and his team enough, because he really does keep this thing rolling. He's a great leader. And so we're super excited. And that's our hope, but that's kind of how we see it.
Josh Howell, Vice President of Sports Development at Visit Wichita. Everybody involved, tip of the cap. Nice job. We've got NCAA tournament games in Wichita. We appreciate it, and we'll be talking again, I'm sure, in the next few months, as March is going to come quick.
It'll be here fast. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. We got to get to work now.
There goes Josh Howell. We appreciate it. We're going to come back. We've got more on Sports Daily. Your calls and comments are welcome. Don't go away.
If you lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
831001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on the Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas fan headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Sports Daily is on KFH.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. It is Sports Daily. We're glad to be here with you. Thanks to Crestview Country Club for being a great supporter of the program. Great golf. It's hot out there if you can stand it. I don't know if I'm a 100-degree golfer, TJ. I don't know if I'm still that dedicated and devoted to the game. I'm to the age, and this is depressing. Sign me up for like a 7:00 tee time before it gets hot. And I hear myself say stuff like that, and I'm like, yeah, just that's so lame. No, I'd still play. Hell, maybe I'll go play today when it's blazing hot. We'll see. But Crestview's got 36 holes to choose from if you are ready to brave it. So get out there, all kinds of great events, bourbon tastings. The new executive chef has all kinds of crazy things on the menu all the time. It's a great place. Take a tour of the facility and tell them we sent you here from Sports Daily. We come back in.
One of my favorite side stories of this whole March Madness coming to Wichita thing is that if it is actually an every year thing, I can't wait for the amount of people that say, yeah, they're going to play in Charles Koch Arena, or wait, there's 2 arenas in Wichita. Like, they're not going to know that. They're going to learn that as they watch, though.
Right.
They're going to say the Shockers play in Intrust Bank Arena. Nope, the Wichita Thunder do.
They sure don't. They have before. I don't know if I wish they still played in Intrust.
They killed them because it was bad luck.
It was bad luck. But it is a way to get like some sort of, people think of it better as a home and home. I've never understood that. I'd rather them just play at Koch Arena, but it's a great basketball venue. It's a great venue. So we continue it. Look, I get it. The first question I asked was, man, that's really cool. What does that mean for the rest of it? And if there's not a rule that says Wichita couldn't get, like Dayton has not hosted, from everything I can tell, Dayton has not hosted outside of the opening round since 2001.
Looked that up. Yeah, there's been one time.
Oh, there have been. What
I'm
round?
Pretty sure. I think that it was the round of 64. Let me double check that.
Well, I know they haven't had a round of Sweet 16 and Elite 8 round. So maybe there's I think that's the first question you start asking right now is, well, maybe we could do both, right? Could we also be a host for Thursday and Friday every 4 or 5 years, right? On the rotation that we've been on anyway. I do think, and I'm about 50-50 on this, I do think, right, if Dayton's drawing 25,000 people a year to their first 4 event, I could probably get on board with that to have that and know you have that every year, pretty much. Is that a sold out full arena? No, it wouldn't be at 25,000 total people, but it's a good amount of people to pile into downtown Wichita. We know that Wichita will make this thing awesome. My question is always, how many people are going to come to it though? And that's where I think you get, because we know a bunch of people are going to come to the Thursday, Friday, because people set their years to that, right? Like, we are prepared to travel with our team on the opening weekend of the NCAA tournament. People set their watches to that. I don't know how much people set their watches to potential play-in games. Obviously, there are some schools where you're going to be great regardless. Like, if it's Texas or Auburn or Oklahoma, like, you're going to be fine if it's those schools. They'll bring a bunch of fans because they have a bunch of fans. There are middle-tier teams like San Diego State. Is San Diego State, who we know has come in strong to Wichita before, are they coming for a Tuesday, Wednesday? Is their fan base? And then the other part of it is, how many people are coming out to this just from the locals, right?
So this is where it gets interesting, is because people are going to love this and people are going to hate this, because it doesn't matter who's playing in the games. It's the same argument as the Wichita Open.
Right.
Which some people are going to hate, because they're going to say, screw that, I want to watch Houston play, right?
And it's on a Tuesday and Wednesday, not potentially a Friday and Sunday or Thursday and Saturday.
It's not a weekend, which will hurt a little bit, and people are going to not like that as much. But I think that Wichita just they'll show up. I think that the random fans will just say, and especially if they're affordable tickets to go to the game, they'll be like, $20, I'll go to watch Norfolk State.
Attendance doesn't matter as much to me. Like, the city of Wichita, like Intrust Bank Arena or the NCAA or whatever, like, I'm not as worried about how many butts are in the seat. I'm worried about how many butts are outside the arena. Go into the local restaurants, sitting.
It matters.
All those things.
It matters how many butts they get in the seats if they want to keep hosting.
Because people come in. Well, people are going to go if people are going to go. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, like, do you get the same energy that has made it so much fun? We don't know that. And here's the good thing about what the news of yesterday was. We weren't getting anything in 27 or 28. That we know. We already knew that. Those had already been decided. Wichita didn't get in those bid cycles. Wichita didn't think it was getting in those bid cycles. It was a long shot to bust the cycle. It was always the next cycle, right, that Wichita was circling. That's a long time. Like, that's the thing. Like, every 5 years or every year, that is an interesting scale to weigh out. And so either way, for 27 and 28, this is a slam dunk, because we weren't getting anything in 27 or 28, right? Like, it was nothing. Now it's this. That's amazing. And that is awesome. Every time we watch Selection Sunday, and it's, Dayton is synonymous with the play-in games. Well, now Wichita will be too. There's no question that's a good thing. I would really hope, though, and push to say, well, okay, yeah, we're hosting those every year. Why can't we also every 4 or 5 years host a round of 64? Maybe that's the ticket to having Wichita then turn around and host the regional, which I've always said, I've always been an advocate to, like, don't push for the regional. You want the opening round. You don't want the second or you don't want the, what would that be, third and fourth rounds. You want the first and second rounds. Like, I've always been an advocate of that.
I finally found it. Dayton began hosting the first 4 every year since 2011. They got the round of 64 and 32 in 2013. So that's a weird one, because they probably landed the bid before that became a thing. Yep. And so it might have been, you could technically probably say that they've never won another bid since they started doing that. So that's your argument. And it's also happened one time. So
it's not even hard to imagine how that works either, right? Like, you have the teams that play here Tuesday and Wednesday, and then you send them on the road. They don't get to just stay here. You send them on the road, and then everyone else would come in as normal, right? I think it's as long if the NCAA, and at the end of the day, and this is probably why we saw that provision of there's no longer a restriction on host cities hosting their host team, because why are we doing that? Like the
I
NCAA
think
baseball
they got
tournament
rid of
is
it.
home sites. Like, why are we doing that? They're going to have
I'd
home
say
playoff games.
The biggest argument for that is KU plays in Kansas City because it's hosted by the Big 12 Conference, not by Kansas. And so it's like, well, why can't the American Conference? So I think that people are just finding loopholes. And so it's like, well, screw it. Just play where you want. We're going to put you where we want you to go. And if it just so happens to be there.
Well, and if again, though, like your ultimate goal here is to generate revenue, then you should be doing the most popular things to try to have the most fans and most people and most butts and seats that you can. Why is that even a rule? I've never understood why it was a rule, because it's not a rule in the other sports. Baseball hosts games, football is going to host games. Like we have women's basketball hosts games. Like who cares?
True.
Put whoever's close by in there. It makes the most sense. Why wouldn't you try to have every team that's close by?
And again, if it becomes something to where it's like roll your eyes about, like if KU would have gotten Wichita in 2025 with the year that they had, that would have been like, okay, like it's like you kind of side eye. But again, it's such a draw. Like you have no idea, even if they're good, you have no idea. Like unless you're literally the number one team in the country. Number one. You don't know where they're going to go. And that's why we all watch Selection Sunday and we're like, oh, look, KU's going to San Diego. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, is there something, because it's not like you have one region here. They come from like 4 different regionals. Does it make sense with the rising cost of travel and all the things? Does it make sense to regionalize? Because the bracket's all over the place. But why not have more teams play closer to their home site to make it easier on travel?
What I'm saying is, if they're doing that, you better deserve to be there. You can't put 6 seed KU as a home game.
I mean, you can
on accident.
Just 3 hours away. It's no different than putting Oklahoma. What I'm saying is, why wouldn't you in a tournament, let's say, that featured Wichita State, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, and Tulsa. Let's say those teams are all in. Rather than sending them all over the country, what if you do the fans a favor and say, what?
I'd be so pissed if I was playing Tulsa and I had to go to Wichita to play them.
Would you be?
Yes, they'd get a home game. That would not be fair. That's the whole.
We don't get that mad at the NCAA baseball. Like, go play the games. I'm not saying I'm advocating for this. This is a weird rabbit hole. I'm just saying,
why they get home games in that scenario is because they earned the right to be the higher seed.
I think there's a time to just sort of reevaluate everything. If travel costs are really outrageous, and we know it is for fans, at that point, to me, you're just doing the fans a favor. Like, you're making it easier for more Tulsa fans to travel, 2 hours down the road than having to fly to, San Diego to try to watch their game.
It'd be fun until you're a Wichita State fan and you're playing Gonzaga in Spokane.
Yeah, roll it out and play the game. Rick says interest isn't even big enough to host a regional. That's not true at all. Omaha hosts regionals all the time. Wichita could absolutely host a regional. I don't want them to.
Regionals all the time.
Huh?
Omaha doesn't host regionals.
I watched KU play their way into the Final Four in Omaha. What are you talking about? KU beat Duke in Omaha to go to the Final Four. What I'm saying, sorry, I should have said cities like Omaha host regionals all the time. We're not talking about the Final Four.
Yep.
Cities of Wichita's size are plenty big to host.
Interest, and not even if it's the city thing, it's one thing. Interest is big enough. Interest is large. Whenever they get that thing filled to the top, it'd be one of the biggest college basketball arenas in the country.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost big enough to be an NBA arena if they really wanted it to be. Omaha, what is Omaha's population? It's about the same as Wichita, yes.
Yeah.
But they have it's because they have the facilities for it.
Anyways, back to Wichita State. If I know that Taylor Eldridge wrote a story yesterday and he put this in there, and it's 100% true. And this is why that part is so exciting, is that one, Wichita State's never played in Wichita before in March Madness. And so it's a possibility now. But it's so exciting because it's not KU fans, if this was in Lawrence, to be like, well, we could play, in Lawrence if that was it's because Wichita State, if they make the tournament, does it seem outlandish that they're not in a bottom 12 at large or a bottom? They wouldn't be a bottom 12 AQ, but they'd be a bottom 12 at large if they made it an at large bid, right?
Yeah, that was my first thought was the AQ, but I don't think they'll ever be low enough as an AQ out of the American.
They'll always be 12 AQs lower than they would be. But if they were at large, I mean, they would slide right into, Oklahoma or Auburn spot and something
there may
like
not
that.
always be. I mean, there's a scenario where you're like 6th place in the regular season and win the conference tournament. Where
there's a real world where if they won 2 more games last year, they would have been in that field. Right, Tulsa was flirting with that.
At larges, absolutely.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Like Tulsa was one of the teams that people were talking about being a bubble team.
Yes. So that is what opens it up as them as one of the final at larges. Now, Wichita State's ultimate ticket in this thing is going to be to win the AAC, and so it'll make it tricky. It'll make it hard, but I'd be more interested if the program ever gets back to the levels we thought it was and can be like a 4 or 5 seed.
Yeah, that's right.
And then
are you ready for the conversations in March when Wichita State's playing in the AAC championship game and they lose and we're like, oh, they lost on purpose so they can come to Wichita. So they're going to be an at-large.
They can get an at-large. Yeah, there are a ton of questions about that we have to get answers to. I'm hoping we do within the next week or so, and we'll report back to people. All right, we'll come back. We've got headlines I missed. Bryce Harper in an interesting situation. Jaylon Thompson, our Royals insider, joins us. It's all coming up in another hour of Sports Daily.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message, so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
831001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on the Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas fan headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
We'll be sure to catch your new series on Fox. How you doing, Mr. Burns? Jerry Rude. Welcome to the show.
Now, Mr. Rude, I just want you to know I'm a good sport. If you want to make fun of my legendary love of cashews, you have at it.
All right. How many times a day do you go to the can?
Oh, about 40, I suppose. When are we going on the air?
We're on the air now, Skeletor.
What?
Change the channel, Marge.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily.
Man, how'd I ever live without this thing?
You didn't. You didn't live without us. Thankfully, we're here. TGIF, everybody. Sports Daily, Jacob Albrock, TJ Cleveland. We've been talking about Wichita winning the opening round bids to host the NCAA tournament in its new form. We will see how much we like or don't like the new format. That doesn't really have anything to do with the conversation that we're having. We still have to see the expanded tournament. I don't think anybody, TJ, is going to mind the expanded tournament. I really don't. I think for most people, now for people here will care, obviously, but for most people around the country, your tournament experience won't change. You'll lock in on Thursday, and it'll be full steam ahead. Yep. There'll just be a few more games on Tuesday and Wednesday that most people weren't really watching anyway, until I will say they added getting these at-larges where you're seeing, who was it, Texas and SMU or NC State or whoever they played. Like, okay, I'm kind of in on that.
It's going to be interesting what they do with it. People's interest level are going to be entirely up to the tournament committee, I think. Right. Is that nobody's going to want to watch if Tulsa and St. Louis are getting snubbed to get Auburn in, basically. Like, that's what's going to turn people off, is just saying we don't need more 500 SEC teams, right? And that's what'll make people interested in it. If they get mid-majors in that like give you cool storylines rather than people that we've seen lose 100 times already. So it's up to that. People will, at the end of the day, it's just going to be a fun appetizer now, I think.
Well, right. Either way, your Thursday doesn't change, right? Nothing changed about your Thursday and your Friday, so it doesn't really matter to most people. It matters to us now, obviously, because we're hosting these games.
I think last year's the perfect example of, and should Miami, Ohio been in a play-in game? That's a different argument. But having the story of Miami, Ohio in it that's what's like. It's like, okay, prove it that you want to be in. That's what.
Here's the dream scenario: if Miami of Ohio last year plays Auburn in Wichita,
exactly,
because now it's like, all right, both of you make your case. Here we go. Let's go. That's where you're like, oh man, if you get that game, now we're in. And I hope that's sort of what it turns into. These teams that lobby and lobby and lobby All right, just here, we'll make it easy for you. Winner gets in. Play it in Wichita on Tuesday night. I think that's got a chance to be really cool. We'll talk more about that. We'll talk about some Major League Baseball stories as well and more. It's all What's on Tap, brought to you by the Wichita Brewing Company, celebrating 15 years of pizza and beer made here. Mark your calendars for the celebration on Saturday, August 1st at WBC West, back where it all began. Live music indoors, 3 new anniversary beers, and prizes and giveaways throughout the day. WBC, cheers to 15 years. Glad to have you with us here. All right, we will get back to the NCAA tournament unless there are headlines involved that I may have missed. Let's do it.
All right, Sports Daily fans, let's take you to the sports headlines Jacob probably didn't see.
All right, Jacob, I don't know if you saw the headline. Wichita will host the opening round of the NCAA tournament. We did. Oh, you did see that one. We just talked about it for an hour. Okay. Somebody brought up, who is this? Reddit College Football. We say their names a lot on the headlines that we may have missed. Is they shared that the opening round of the NCAA tournament will now feature not just 1, but 2 medium-sized Midwestern cities with a strong history in aviation.
Dayton, the Flyers.
The Flyers. Okay. I've never thought about it like that, but they do. There's a historic Dayton Aviation Heritage National Historical Park. I think the Wright brothers are from Dayton. The Wright brothers have some ties to Dayton. I'll have to read this Wikipedia article.
We've got Amelia Earhart. They've got the Wright brothers. Okay.
Yeah. We'll get back
I guess
to
not
that.
Wichita, but
In Dayton, Ohio, the Wright brothers owned bicycle shops. So they may have worked there, and that's a whole thing. Anyways, aviation in Dayton as well. Fun tie in. All right, to the Big 12. Did you see what Cody Campbell said yesterday?
Yesterday? No, I did not.
He said, quote, I don't know where he said this or who he was talking to when he said this, but quote, we want to find a way to get all other Big 12 schools to elevate themselves. Everybody needs to do some version of what we've done at Texas Tech. That's the path forward for this conference. A rising tide lifts all boats. Cody Campbell is saying, why don't you guys just get a billionaire to give you money?
I've never, people can get mad at that all they want. That's just jealousy. They're just mad that they don't have a Cody Campbell, right? I hold nothing against Cody Campbell. Good for him.
No, he's not doing anything wrong. But Cody Campbell telling other schools, that, why aren't you guys just giving $20 million a year?
Yeah. Okay. Tech's going to catch a lot of heat this year. He's become very high profile because he involves himself in it and plays in those weeds. But
it's fun. It's an interesting conversation because, one, it's like, all right, dude, yeah, we'll get a billionaire. We'll try. Okay, don't worry. But
Wichita has some billionaires.
But
go get them.
2 is it actually what is good? It's good for the Big 12 conference because they would be really good.
Yep.
But is it good for the sport if it is just the arms race would just multiply? Is that what is good for college sports? Or does somebody need to step in and be like,
again,
there is a salary cap of $20 million and nobody follows it?
Again, I will never sit here and naively pretend like the best players have not been getting paid in college athletics.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying, do we need to keep, the more that happens, the more of the Cody Campbell that happens for schools is the more that, players are going to ask for, and it's going to get even more crazy.
What you need is the transfer portal to stop. That's what you need. If you can start with that, then I think we can work ourselves through the rest of it. I'm not sure if the open market is good or bad. I'm not sure because it's always been the open market. There have always been a handful of schools that collect all the best players because they compensate those players, whether it was above the table or below the table, doesn't matter. How do you think the same schools kept getting all the best players? It's happened my entire life in college athletics. I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem right now is the transfer portal, and that's where we need to focus.
Yeah, the problem is that players can just leave and go get paid whatever they want to get paid whenever they can. Speaking of that, this was a conversation that I wanted to have. Is at Big 12 Media Days. I know Lance Leipold said it for sure, and I think I saw Sonny Dykes said it as well. A couple coaches. There's a lot of questioning of how do you fix college sports, and there was some interesting responses to that, which we can dig into eventually. But notably, Lance Leipold, I asked him, we talked about the 5-year model, about how that will affect KU. And, he said that it really won't affect us a ton because they don't have guys. This is another part of the 5-year rule, by the way. I don't know the answer to this, but I'm pretty sure if a player like Wesley Fair got redshirted his freshman year, he only still gets 4 years. He doesn't get the 5th year like Avery Johnson because he's got the timer going now.
Yes.
So for KU, they don't have a ton of guys that are redshirted. They all basically burned at their freshman year, so it'll just be business as usual. They'll all get an extra year, things like that. But I asked him in general terms, do you like the 5-year model? Do you think it's good for the sport? And he said he thinks that he does. He was indifferent on it for a while, and then I think the more that he dug into it is that we've got to get out of the business that you can just apply for a waiver and get it.
Yeah.
And he's like, we've got to have a rule that says that you can stop doing that. And, he said the same thing that we've been saying is that, is this going to fix it? No, it's going to fix one of the things. He's like, we need to get to a point where the transfer portal is calmed down. He said, I don't think that anybody thinks that transferring shouldn't be possible, but it needs to be one transfer. Everybody has the right to change their mind, but not everybody has the right to change their mind 4 times. And that's what Sonny Dykes said, is that at the bottom line, the argument has gone, full circle now of, we want to do what's best for these kids, and what's best for these kids is we can't tell them what they can and can't do. And now it's gotten to the point where it's so ridiculous is that we need to do what's best for these kids, and these kids going to 5 different schools in 5 years is not good for these kids. We have to stop them.
I agree with all of that, and that's where I've landed with all of it too. Like, the other part of it is, like, let's also not be naive to what we were just talking about. If you're going to make that much money, that comes with responsibilities, that comes with agreements in place. Like, you can't have all of it. If you want that kind of money, then you're going to have to make some real commitments to these schools. And that's where, like, I've got no problem with any of that. I think, the transfer portal has always been very strange and bizarre, and it started and it was okay, and now it's not okay at all, and it's the biggest problem facing it. But it's the last thing. You have the 5-year rule, which I think solves one kind of problem. I don't think there's any need to cap NIL. I don't think. I mean, we could change our mind on that, but at this point, I don't think it really matters. It's the transfer portal. Because the transfer portal, we get all these crazy bids for players. That's because they're free to transfer every year. If they weren't free to transfer every year, there's no need for Cody Campbell to go chase all the best college football players every year. Their team's still there, and those guys can't leave in the first place.
It would just save the fact of players also just saying, hey, I need this or I'm leaving. It's like, really? You're going to leave? Big dog, you can't. You lose a year of eligibility.
Out a year, and you've only got 5 of them.
Like, so you can leave, but you better really want to leave. Like we're gonna, And again, it doesn't need to be what it used to be, where the coaches had all the power, but the coaches need to have some power.
I totally agree. We're getting there. It's taken longer than we'd hoped when this all started, but we're getting there, and we're probably closer than we think. Lawmakers will get this thing, some version of it, pushed through. The problem is now the greed comes in from the conference level. It's no longer really, and I imagine that most coaches, schools, administrators all agree, but they won't agree on are some of the provisions for the conferences. So now you've got to get through that level of greed to get there. And I'm not blaming them for that. They want to protect their business interest. I've got, it's just complicated. We'll come back. We got more Sports Daily. Don't go away.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
83-1001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas fan headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Daily on KFH.
Welcome back in, everybody, to Sports Daily. If you want to win some free HTO, East Wichita, West Wichita Derby, we'll get you a free cup on us. There's a text contest right now. You can enter the keyword T to the short code 20357, and you'll get a free iced tea. Enter once per day. Message and data rates apply. You can try the all-new Pineapple Crush, the flavor of the summer, at HTO, or try it the new mini sippers, which are the mini gallons with straws punched right into them. Fun way to have your iced tea. All right, we come back here to Sports Daily. TJ, this Bryce Harper story is an interesting one. If people have not seen, apparently FanDuel is being sued by an individual who bet somewhere between $1.5 million or $2 million. Actually, I didn't bet, lost between $1.5 million and $2 million. And the Bryce Harper component is apparently, and make sure I get this right, Bryce Harper was asked by FanDuel to make a personalized video for this individual. And so now he's getting in trouble and accused like he had something to do with it. Either way, it's not a good look. The dangers of this stuff are prevalent, and this guy has shown like the aggressive text message marketing from the company to like get him to bet more and more and more and more and more. And we've run stories like that on the news side. Like, it's a danger. It's a real addiction for people. But Bryce Harper's made so much money. Like, why is Bryce Harper like sending personalized videos for FanDuel? Like, what?
Yeah, it's a weird. I think the Harper side of it's just a weird story. The main story in all this, though, is what you're talking about. Is that like it's sad, honestly. I mean, we talk about the Sorsby situation a lot, and he catches a lot of flack. But Brendan Sorsby was addicted to gambling. Like, he lost or he bet what $900,000. Is that the number that they always say about that? Like, and that's just to a level. Like, there's people out there like that are losing millions and millions, like losing literally everything doing it. And I know that people have talked about it a lot. Is that it's starting to show its head more and more. I think where it's been a thing for a while. In 2022 in Kansas is when it got launched, and it got launched in other states well before that. But it gets you on that high. Is it like, this is awesome? This is a lot of fun. This makes watching games a bunch of fun. This is harmless. And for a lot of people, it is. And then I think that you see more and more of these guys that are like, well, I didn't sweat that much only betting $5. I'm going to bet 20. I'm going to bet 50. I'm going to bet 100. And it's, I'm down $1,000. I'm going to get it all back. Oh, I'm down $2,000. And then it spirals and it gets to a point, and then it just gets sad.
There's a philosophical component to it, but it's not like any other of our vices. Some people are perfectly fine going and having a beer or two. Some people are, but not everybody is. Do you outlaw beer? Like it's the same with all the vices, like the level of, personal choice and freedom versus the real dangers of it. And I think over time you come up with methods to like alleviate as many of the dangers as you can. 100%. I do not think it should be allowed for these companies to go aggressively, personally reach out to these people, like the old Vegas whale stories you hear about, like to go so aggressively at somebody who is clearly spiraling. And there are mechanisms in place that you could select, but I think most people that have a problem probably don't know they have a problem or aren't willing to admit they have a problem. But are we really okay with a company doing that? Because that's the unique part of this. Are we really okay with them saying, hey, Bryce Harper, like however that went about? Again, I highly doubt Bryce Harper knew anything about the person that they probably called and said, hey, you want to send this guy a message for us? He's a great client of ours. Here's whatever.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
It's ugly because it's gross.
It's more so, I think the story becomes, it's the same thing that, I've wondered and people have wondered, is that I think it's DraftKings. How is DraftKings running ads with LeBron James, and he's not talking about basketball, and I get it. And they're allowed to bet on football and stuff. But at the end of the day, whenever there's so much about keeping integrity and things like that, this weekend or this week at Big 12 Media Day, Avery Johnson was asked about college fantasy football and his thoughts on that. And if he is a fantasy footballer, and he's like, I don't play fantasy football. And he's like, and then college fantasy football is something that I don't even know if we'd be allowed to do it. And I don't really want to even try.
They wouldn't be allowed to do it.
Well, NFL players can play fantasy football, so I don't know if they would or not, actually.
NFL players can play fantasy football?
Yeah, have you not seen that story? They play fantasy football, and it's like a whole thing. They can't bet money on it, but they can play for bragging rights fantasy football.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought they could play other fantasy sports.
No, they can play fantasy football. It's a whole thing. Is it like
that
Patrick
probably
Mahomes
shouldn't be allowed?
It's also pretty wild. Is it like Patrick Mahomes is like, I got Kelsey on my team this week. Anyways, that's a whole sidebar. Anyways, him talking about that is that, and he said it best, is that I don't want to do anything that has anything that could remotely be linked to betting, because we're seeing firsthand is that that's the no-no zone. That's the danger zone. And that's why it's so odd that the lines are so gray sometimes about, hey, professional athlete, you're going to be in a sports betting commercial. Hey, the Chiefs are tweeting out what the spread is, or the total number is for their games on Sundays and things like that. And it gets to a point. It's interesting. It just makes everything interesting.
Yeah, look, I don't think that there's anything wrong with an athlete taking a sponsorship on that, because again, for most people, it's fun, right? It's fun. It's a sponsorship opportunity. No, but like, I don't think if you're LeBron James, you're sitting there thinking, oh, I'm going to get people addicted to gambling.
Yeah.
I don't think Peyton Manning does a Bud Light commercial thinking, oh man, I'm really going to play to the alcoholics here. No, he probably likes to have a beer. And so he's like, yeah, that's a fun sponsorship. Patrick Mahomes and Coors Light. Like, it's very hard, because I think it's gross what happened to this guy in Philadelphia. I think it's gross the levels of trying to get their hooks in him that they did. I think that's horrible and should not be allowed, right? But I also think for most people, it doesn't enter the equation. So I don't know, but it's like, it is maybe a cautionary tale for somebody like Bryce Harper, now that you know how that was used or what it was used for, to like, hey, everybody, like, maybe just be a little cautious on some of these deals. Maybe because what is that app where people pay to get personalized messages sent? Cameo. I mean, it's not that different than that.
It's true.
Which could be a real weird situation if you don't know who you're making that video for.
It's true.
So,
all right,
maybe when you're making $50 million a year as a baseball player, the personalized videos for FanDuel aren't the ones that you need to venture into.
Let's take a quick pivot, because I want to talk about this, and it kind of deals with people getting paid money to do things that they may not want to do, like jersey sponsorships. The fans may not want them to do, is the better way to put that, probably. The Monster Energy Big 12 football. Monster Energy Big 12 basketball, the official name of it, is getting a lot of talk, and I want to bring it up. Is that we kind of mentioned this yesterday, is that they got, I think 20 million is the number. Every school gets about $1 million, and I don't know what it's going to look like, but there will be the Monster logo on every jersey in football and basketball. I know for sure. I don't know about the others. Every court and every football field will have a Monster Energy logo on it. And the announcers, every time they come in and say, welcome back to the Monster Energy Big 12 football conference. Every time you turn on a game on ESPN, that's going to happen.
Welcome back to the Phillips 66 Big 12 championship tournament.
Yeah. No, listen, I'm saying it's just, people are real upset about this. And this is where but this is the thing, Jacob, is that there's people that are going to be upset about jersey patches. I get it. People are upset about whenever they came to the NBA and when they came to the MLB, is because it's just not the traditional way. Is it that big of a deal? It's really not that big of a deal. But people are bringing up this Big 12 one and being like, it's like, this is so stupid. There's a neon green jersey patch. It's going to be on our jerseys, and we're not even getting that much money for it.
Not even getting that much money?
But the thing that they're saying is that and it's interesting. Like, KU's
$1 million.
Apparently, KU's little jersey patch that they got from the cryptocurrency, whoever that company is, XRP, I think is something. Yeah. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. They got like 5 or 6 million. It sounds like, just for that.
We learned from Shreyas Latta, by the way. That's a KU alum.
Yes, I learned that
there's
too.
Ties there.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Is that the actual going market? I don't know. I'm not sure.
But that's what people are saying, is that we could have gotten more by ourselves than we did.
And do it.
But that's my point here, is that people are upset about this of it's just not that big of a deal. Like, why are you pocket watching the Big 12 conference?
They just made a bunch of money. And that is a big deal. Kevin Saul told us that what did the golf program cost to run a year? $1 million?
Yeah.
Maybe that monster patch on the football jersey just saved the KU golf program. Think about it like that.
I think that there's a line that will be drawn. I think that if we turn on a KU basketball game and the court looks like it did for that Players Era tournament where there was 27 ads, then it's going to be like, okay, this is stupid. What are we doing?
And look, you got to do it the first time.
And if we go, I think that there's a line to be drawn as well. Because you and I, we talk about jerseys and courts and things all the time. It's aesthetically pleasing. It's a major part of sports.
Absolutely.
I think if it gets to a point where KU's basketball jersey looks like a WNBA jersey, a soccer jersey, where you can't even see the team name because there's a giant ad. Then I think that we're talking about something at that point. We're not there yet. They're going to have to find it, though.
We can't be concerned about the challenges and the issues that face it and then get mad every time there's a solution.
Yeah.
Which is what happens every time. It's so much easier to cry and whine about the problem, but not offer up any solutions. This is a potential solution. These schools are getting $1 million that they didn't have. Okay, $1 million. Was it underpriced? Man, I got more faith in Brett Yormark than that, but maybe. And you know what? The next time they take it to the table, if it was underpriced, now you can price it even higher. But you know what they didn't have before they did this deal? $1 million in their pocket.
That's my point. Is that was it underpriced? Probably, but it's $1 million. It's $1 million more dollars than you had prior. It's like a guy. What's an analogy I can make? A homeless man gets a job and he complains about making minimum wage, right? It's like, no, I deserve 20 an hour.
You didn't have a job before, sir.
Now you got $1 million in your pocket. I get it. And is it stupid? Is it
such a good analogy?
Thank you. Is it dumb? Are we going to roll our eyes every time they call it the Monster Energy Conference? Is the SEC going to pick on the Big 12 about, oh yeah, we're playing KU out of the Monster Energy Conference? Is it getting to a point where it is a little silly? It is. I get it. But at the end of the day, it's not too silly yet. It might be eventually if they drop Big 12 and just go by the Monster Conference. Then we're going to probably be like, okay, this is
we might say, all right, yeah, we don't like that. But again, like, what if that meant your school gets Darren Peterson, right?
That's what my point that I'm trying to make with all this stuff is that it's fine to complain, but just know the things that are happening are things that are going to happen. K-State's also going to get a jersey sponsorship. Every team in the country will have a jersey sponsorship. Because if they don't, it's really dumb of them for not doing it.
Hey, hang on. Because they already all have for a long time. Their apparel logo is right there. Guess what that is?
Yeah.
That's a flippin' sponsorship.
Yeah.
Okay. They're not allowed to wear certain shoes because of that. So let's not pretend like this hasn't always existed. It 100% has existed.
Yeah. Somebody brought up KU's jerseys will now have the Monster Energy Big 12, Adidas, XRP. If they're in March Madness, that means an NCAA logo as well. Like, oh my heavens.
Put it on the back. Put it on the back. Yeah,
So
look at a Premier League jersey.
I know. It's right now is they're teetering the line. They're not teetering
I don't even
quite
think
yet.
they've gotten close.
There's a line that will be drawn. They're not to that line yet. I think that there's a conversation that they could be eventually. Big 12 has taken the biggest step forward of everybody else has.
They
and
swing
then
the
I
biggest
think
every time.
the line that will be drawn is not the line of this is stupid. What are we doing? It's the line of if we have to do all this to pay our players, we might be paying our players too much.
Again, I don't.
You know why the Premier League has jersey sponsorships bigger than their logos? Because they get paid more than any athlete ever. They can just pay whatever they want over there.
But if you're asking me if it's that or go back to the old way, I'm not going back to the old way because I don't think it's fair. I think we get to that point. I hope what comes out of this is we could have made way more than that on our own. Great. Go do that then, right? Go do that. Monster didn't limit. I mean, you're not going to be able to go get Red Bull, but everybody else is on the table.
Why that's kind of the biggest thing that I want to say about this is that with my analogy here is that people are saying like that's so stupid. We could make way more money on our own. It's like yeah, you can do that too. And here's also $1 million.
And you should. Your analogy was so perfect. We're in the business world all the time. We'll have somebody say, I need more money. I can't pay my bills. And you look and you're like, well, you haven't showed up to like 3 out of your last 4 shifts. So that's why you don't have any money. Like what? It's like, I need more, but I don't want to do anything to get it. If you can go make more than the $1 million of a Monster sponsorship, that's fantastic.
And
you
then,
should go do that.
Okay, let's keep the analogy going. This is fun. If that is the case, and KU, for example, is saying, I need more money so I can pay my bills because my bills are expensive, and then you're going to complain about your Monster Energy thing. And if you don't want a jersey patch on your sponsorship, limit your bills, sell your house, stop buying expensive things.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you can't
have it both ways. You can't have it both ways to get the number 1 player in the country and not have a jersey sponsorship. And that's the world that we live in now.
100% right. Don't give your coach a massive buyout in his contract. then if you are worried about, like, that's, to me, that's like, we cannot get stuck. You can, nowhere in life can you get stuck just wishing it was something. Like, be proactive in this. I was so happy to see that KU announcement that they did, whichever crypto. Brady and I aren't smart enough to know anything about crypto. I don't know anything about crypto. So like, but I was so excited to see them do it because, yeah, like, okay, if you think Monster impedes on the business you were doing, that means you're doing good business. And that's a totally different conversation that we can have. But just to say, well, you know, we could have done better than that. Go do it. Nobody's saying you can't go do it. Go do it.
That's what it's, the Big 12 patch was going to be there anyways. They're just saying, hey, put this on there and you get $1 million.
Who cares?
It could have been more money, probably, but you know, I think that it's money that you didn't have.
Yeah, I have no idea if it could be more money. I've never negotiated a deal like that.
Nobody has ever. Nobody has ever, except for the Big 12.
Right.
And the Monster Energy Big 12 conference. Excuse me.
And other leagues are going to take notice and they're going to do it. But guess what? I want to make sure the Big 12 remains competitive with the SEC and the Big 10.
And don't get us wrong. Don't get us wrong. We're not bootlicking Monster Energy here.
I don't care about Monster Energy. I care what Monster Energy paid the Big 12. We're
100% going to be company. The first time that we turn on K-State football and it says, welcome into the Monster Energy Big 12 conference. Jacob and I are going to be right there with you saying, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I'm not calling it that.
I'm going to call it the Monster Energy.
Exactly. Well, nobody's going to call it that except for the people that are paid to call it that.
Right. They've paid for certain people to say it. I'm not saying it.
The best meme that I've seen, I don't know who made it, but it was Step Brothers. It's like, you have to call me Nighthawk. It's like, you have to call me the Monster Energy Big 12 Conference.
It's Arrow. It's the FIFA telling me I got to call it Kansas. I'm not calling it Kansas City Stadium. You're playing at Arrowhead. You can put whatever you want on there, but it's Arrowhead. Like, I don't care what you think. You pay me to say Kansas City Stadium, and I will. But for now, like, that's not what's going to happen. It's the same thing. Yeah. Jaylon Thompson's going to be in next. Let's talk some Royals. The Quick Trip. The Royals brought to you by Quick Trip. We'll have that next.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
831001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas fan headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Sports Daily on KFH.
And now, digging deeper with the teams you follow, it's another Sports Daily Insider interview on KFH.
And we welcome in our Royals insider, Jaylon Thompson, in KC Star, everything Royals. Jaylon, how are you this morning?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Good. Did the Royals not get the memo that we kind of need the guys on the trade block to play well? Michael Wacha with a couple bad starts, Alex Lang with a bad appearance. I saw John Schreiber gave up a run the other day. Like, what's going on here? Why? Or is there collusion for everybody to stay on the team? What's happening right now?
They are playing well.
Michael Wacha didn't pitch well yesterday. I don't know. Is he a trade candidate or not? I guess let's start there. Are they trading Michael Wacha?
You would have to get a very big haul to trade Michael Wacha.
Okay.
You got to have somebody to pitch next season. And if you're going to give up Michael Wacha, you better be getting a whole bunch of MLB ready arms that can fill in for you. And I just don't see them doing that. That's an all-star pitcher that you have there.
Mm-hmm.
And unless one of those teams that's going for it strikes out on Terrence Skubal and Joe Ryan and the rest of the crew, Freddie Peralta that could be available, I don't know if Michael Wacha is going to be moved, because I don't think the Royals are going to get enough that they would desire to move him. He's your best
controllable, good salary. He is. I mean, he's getting up there in age, though. Like, there's some risk with Michael Wacha.
You got to have somebody start next year. Cole Reagans is going to be out until July. Chris Bubich is not guaranteed to be back. He's a free agent. So then you tell those two guys out, your stars are Seth Lugo and Lewandro Avila and Stephen Kolek. That's all you have if you trade Michael Wacha as well.
I'm gonna follow this, TJ, real quick, because follow my train of thought. What if I told you John Sherman had a commitment to spend that same amount of money next year in free agency, would you be more inclined to trade Michael Wacha knowing that you could re-spend the money you have invested in him on the free agent market to get some starting pitching?
I still would not trade Michael Wacha because what you have to look at too is it's going to be a lockout on December 1st.
That's true.
And when they get back to playing again, it's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be lined up to spend that money to fill out their rosters. And if you get rid of Michael Wacha, there's no guarantee you're going to be able to go out and get the pitcher that you need on the free agent market when there's 1,000 people trying to do the same thing, right?
It's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. How does that affect, you're smarter than us, how does that affect expiring contracts if there's a lockout next year? Will they have free agency and then lockout?
No. When the season's over, then those guys become free agents. So yes, you will have about
guys will sign to teams and then they'll say, we're not playing.
Theoretically, yes, you will have until December 1st after the World Series. I think it's 5 days after the World Series to sign as many players as you can before the lockout hits on December 1st. And then there'll be no communication between the players and the teams until they get the CBA figured out. And then it's a mad dash again before the season starts. So if you are a impending free agent, you might decide to either wait until the lockout is over and then sign, which that's probably what I would do. I don't want to lock myself into a contract before the new CBA is agreed to anyway, because there's be more money to be available for teams and stuff like that. It could be a salary cap for all we know. So yeah, it's one of those tricky tricks to the trade. Like, and for teams that like the Royals, they want to get everything done before the lockout. That way they can know they can have people set and ready to go. If you are a free agent, you want to wait till after the lockout to get more money and stuff like that.
Okay, this is an interesting thought now that I'm thinking about this. The Royals, will a salary cap help a team like the Royals who can't afford to go full on this year? Because there's going to be a floor, obviously, as well. But think about like the Bobby Witt Jr. deal that they gave him, the 10-year deal or whatever it was. If those don't exist anymore, you're going to have to pay more per year in like a foot. Is that hurt the Royals?
No, a salary cap would actually benefit the Royals because of think about it like the NBA. In the bigger market teams, they can no longer spend the exorbitant amount of money to come out and sign guys. So like the Dodgers going out and getting Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, those days will be over with. If you got a salary cap. But for the Royals, you would have to spend to the cap. So now you're saying, all right, you got Bobby's contract, you got Seth Lugo's contract. Seth Lugo's gonna make the most money next year. He's making $20 million. Salvy's making 12.5. If with a salary cap, regardless of what it is, that means you gotta go spend that money to get to the floor. So I'm sure they have to.
So it's good. It's gonna be good for the roster and bad for the budget, basically.
Basically, yes. You'll see them spending a lot more money on guys that maybe aren't top tier guys just to get to the floor, like many small market teams do, like in football and basketball and things like that.
Yeah, I think that's the key. It should be better for Royals fans because having payroll slash years won't be a thing anymore. Like you've got to get to the floor as much as you've got to get to the cap. This is going to be messy, Jaylon. There is like zero appetite for a cap from the players.
The players do not want it.
But honestly, it's an inevitability probably. So to me, like if I'm the players union, like you've got to have a place to work. At some point, the owners are going to be like, listen, this is a line in the sand. If these guys aren't going to do it, like we'll eventually find players to play baseball. Players can't just eventually find that place to play baseball. So if it's an inevitability, which I think it probably is, you could get everything else you want out of the owners if you'll agree to this.
I will counter argument on this point for the players. The owners know that they have an impending TV rights deal that is coming up as well. I think it's 2028 or whatnot, where they can revamp and rework the entire system with, and we talked about this before with the regional sports networks and things like that. And it's a lot of momentum in baseball. So from the players' perspective, they know that the owners need them to make more money. And the owners know that the players need to play. So that line is going to be drawn in the sand. And it's not going to be the big name players because they are going to be fine. It's those rank and file players where when those checks start to be missing each and every week, you have a certain lifestyle, do you start to say, you know what, guys, let's get back to work because I need money. I need to get paid. Or do the owners say, you know what, we're missing too many games. We need to sell these stadiums out, make $1 bajillion on these TV deals. Let's get back to work. So something's going to happen. But the owners definitely want the salary cap. The players do not want it. And that's where the crux of this is going to be.
A lot of optimism about a potential lockout, it sounds like. Is Jack Caglione going to win the home run derby, Jaylon?
You know what? I think he has a really good chance. And I'll say this because it's a different format this year, in case you guys don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's no more timed, right?
It's no more time. It's 20 swings in the first round. It's 15 swings in the second round and 15 swings in the third round. So essentially, anything that you hit, if it's home run or not, it counts as a swing. So, and he's going to have his dad throwing to him. So I feel like this is like the perfect story.
I'm learning as we go. Is it a bracket still?
There's no bracket.
So this is just the old home run derby.
In the second round, it is. So when it's 8, they'll take the top 4, and then you'll get seeded up. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. Like I don't mind. I don't like the bracket, but I also don't mind getting a reward potentially for having the most home runs in the first round.
And I think
he's built for this, man. Yeah. He's built for this.
I think the cash prize is $1 million or something like that.
He hadn't been paid like that yet.
No,
like
he didn't pay like that.
Average the team put out in its release. I don't know how much you've dug into this. His average distance on his home run is tied for the highest in baseball.
I believe it.
Like he's built for it.
If you've seen him in BP, you know he can hit it.
Yeah, there you go.
And he said that it's just like BP in his opinion. And in that last round of BP, you just try to go for it and you hit as many as you can. So
there's been historically players have always been like, no, I'm not going to do the home run derby. It's going to mess up my swing. That's Jack Caglione's swing. That's all he does is try to hit home runs.
I know. So shoot, it's going to fit well for him.
I saw somebody post on social media, I can't wait for the rest of the world to watch Jack Caglione win the home run derby and say, oh, maybe this guy should split time with Lane Thomas.
Well, in about a couple of weeks, you will not see Lane Thomas probably on the roads anymore. And I'm happy for him. He's playing really well. Yeah. And I think something has clicked in his mind like, hey, I can get out of here. So let me play well. But like you said, I don't think the recent performances of the guys, like you said, Michael Wacha's bad start, John Schreiber, Alec Lang, I think if those teams know what they can get, if I had to rank them of people that will get moved, I'm going to go Lane Thomas. I would go John Schreiber. I would go Daniel Lynch is probably the surprise one that will get moved because he's just a great left-handed reliever. And
maybe
someone
the best
can
reliever
believe
on the market.
Yeah, someone can believe he can be a reliever or he can probably maybe start again. Somebody's going to take a chance on that. And I think those are the 3 that the Royals will probably move. And Lynch will be the surprise one. As far as Starling Marte and Alec Lang, if they want to take a chance on that, or Matt Strom, you're not going to get much back for those guys. So maybe you move them, maybe you don't. But the top ones are definitely going to be Lane Thomas, John Schreiber, maybe Daniel Lynch. And if Chris Bubich can come back, somebody might take a chance on him too.
Okay. You just listed them, Marte, Lynch. I feel the way about Lynch, I think, that you do about Wacha. What are they going to have in the bullpen? You know what I mean? Like, he's their best reliever. They don't have a closer.
If I'm the GM, if I'm JJ Piccolo right now, I'm trading Daniel Lynch no matter what because I believe this is the highest that you can ever see him perform. We've seen Daniel Lynch over the years. This is the best he's ever performed. This is an ultimate. If it was me, I'm selling high because I don't know if he can do that
I mean, last year in a different
year-over-year.
role, he was really effective.
Yes,
you know,
he
kind of as a
was.
long man. But at the same time, and I'm not saying you don't trade him because I agree.
Yeah.
I think you do because he's going to be the most valuable reliever. But that's where I come back to Waka. If Waka ends up being the second most valuable starting pitcher traded, potentially,
you move him. Yes,
you have to listen on that. Like
do.
because that's a transformational type move that you could make. And they didn't make it with Seth Lugo, and I'm not faulting them for not. Like, they decided, you know what? Let's double down on Lugo and give him an extension. He's an older pitcher. That is not working out for them. You know, like in retrospect, it would have been better to trade him. So I just don't want that same thing to happen with Waka going in. You know, he's going to be 36, 37 years old by the end of that contract. He's had injuries over the years. I feel like the iron is as hot as it's going to be with him right now too.
If you move Michael Waka, you better have, like I said, two pitching arms that are ready to go. Kind of, sort of to. I mean, he's not Freddie Fermin, but when they went and got Ryan Berger and Stephen Kolek,
yes,
you got to have some level of that, but higher to get him to move Michael Waka, because you're talking about a guy that is consistent, that he can be that guy in your rotation to mentor the young guys like he's been doing and everything of that nature. So, yes, I agree with you, Jacob. I think that if you have a chance to move Michael Waka and it's a good deal, you do it. Also, I think, and TJ, you'll probably agree with me on this one, I think you got to trade one of your top prospects. I think you got to reset the farm system.
Trade Blake Mitchell. You already got Carter Jensen.
Yeah, you could trade those guys. I don't know if you saw this, Jalen. Baseball America put out their midseason, and I get paywalled there, so really just saw their tweet. The Royals were like middle of the pack, which is way better than I thought they would be. Way better. I thought they were near the bottom.
Well, that's because you have those two guys down in single A.
I was the Naturals are in Wichita right now, the AA team, and I was looking to see if they had any. It's like they don't have until like number 15 as a guy in AA. They're all in single A.
Yeah, single A and high A. Jackson Churio and David Shields. So that's the feature pitching wise, but they're a ways off.
But the farm system may not be in as bad a shape as I kind of thought it was.
Give them a decade.
Yeah, give them a decade, half a decade. You'll see.
Right. Jaylon Thompson, follow his work at the KC Star. We're all betting Cags in the Derby, sounds like. Yeah. We'll talk next week.
See you guys later.
We're coming back. Don't go away. More Sports Daily right after this.